going on, everybody? It's your boy Joey here once again from the So Wizard podcast, coming back at you with some more comic book reviews for this week. Before we get started, of course, you got to hit the like, you got to hit the subscribe, and you got to hit the bell so you get the notifications when all of our cool content is hitting you through the YouTube channel. So, like I've said before, I'm a lapsed comic book reader. Haven't been a Wednesday warrior for about close to 10 years, I would say at this point. And I'm just rolling into the comic book shop every Wednesday, picking up a few books that catch my eye from the new releases. And I'm going to give you an honest review of them with comics I paid for straight out of my pocket. So let's get it started, man. Let's talk about this week. Slim pickings this past week for comics. Not a lot of new releases. I wasn't able to hit up our regular comic shop, Comics apostrophe more in Easthampton, Mass. We do love those guys. Just situations and work and nonsense stopped me from being in the area to make it where I could get over there and grab some stuff and have this video out in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm sorry, but I will be back there next week to pick up some more books. I did manage to get a couple. Like I said, slim pickings this week, but I grabbed what caught my eye, and we're going to get started with the first one. First thing I got is Spiderpunk #1. So one thing I got to remember to do, and Adam's going to kill me, is that I have to hold stuff over here, because when I hold it over here, when he puts the cover floating over here, then it covers everything I'm trying to show you. So I got to remember to be over here with it. Great. YouTube 101. Fantastic. So Spiderpunk #1 came out this past week. This is a character that has been in the Spider-Verse comics from Marvel for a while. Right off the bat, let's just get it out of the way. There's your Marvel comic for you. There's your Marvel comic. It feels like crap again. Terrible quality once again from the book. Feels like tissue paper for the covers. The paper for the pages is not great either. This is shocking to me because, again, I haven't bought books in a long time, but I remember buying like Ultimate Spider-Man, even just regular books back in the day, and they felt fine and they were cheaper than this. Now, obviously, there's going to be inflation involved and the rising cost of things, but you got to be telling me that this is the best we can do for $3.99? $3.99, and this is the best we can do? Is this absolutely terrible quality of paper? It's a huge turnoff when you first pick up the book, and it doesn't even matter the content or who wrote it or what character it is. It's just you pick up this book, and the first thing, it just feels cheap, and you're like, man, I just spent $4 on this, and it feels cheap. Where are the cardstock covers? A week or so ago, we looked at Spawn, and that was $2.99. They had a cardstock cover and good quality pages. We've read some DC books that have had good quality stuff and right around the same price range. Marvel's owned by Disney, so you would think that Mickey could put his hand in his pocket and pull out a little money for them to not have absolutely embarrassing quality for their papers on their books. So that has nothing to do with Spiderpunk, but this is now the second week in a row we've had a Marvel book that feels like it's printed on tissue paper. And as someone walking into the comic shop looking to drop down my hard-earned money on the counter, it's kind of making me pause a little bit and think maybe I don't want to take that chance on books I'm not sure about because they're just going to feel like garbage. So this is Spiderpunk #1. Like I said, character's been in a few books, the Spider-Verse crossovers and stuff that I have checked out a little bit or at least seen pictures of, and I've seen people cosplay this character in the past and looks pretty cool. We get it written by Cody Ziegler. I don't know if they're related to Dolph Ziggler from wrestling, but that would be cool if they were. Probably not. Justin Mason on art, and there's a bunch of different covers for variants and stuff. This was the one that we got. Doesn't really say who drew it. I think it says Wolf on the bottom there. It's a pretty cool looking cover. Maria Wolf, it seems like, from the credits. So that's a cool cover. And we get a very small, I got to go over this side. Got to go on this side so it doesn't get blocked. Get a very small amount of backstory here. So I don't know how much of that is just because the character's mostly been a guest star in things and how much of that is just they don't want to tell you. But apparently Spiderpunk hit the president with a guitar and I don't know, he has a band or something. Everything's punk rock. So yeah, the book gets started. You know, it's mostly about Spider-Man and Spider-Punk and Captain Anarchy, which is like supposed to be, I guess, a punk rock version of Captain America. They fight Kraven the Hunter. Ironheart is there, but I guess she's not Ironheart. She's like like a punk rock version of Ironheart. They fight. We're not really sure like what's going on, and then oh no! At the end, and I guess spoiler for Spider-Punk. At the very end of the book, I'm going to go this side. Taskmaster shows up and he looks like one of the Misfits. So he looks like Jerry Only from the Misfits. I take everything else outside of the book away, and I thought that was hilarious. So big ups to that one. That was great. That had me just like, what? I was just kind of like a little taken aback by that because it was funny and I wasn't expecting it. Otherwise than that, I didn't like this book. I'm sorry. I just didn't like it. I don't know, man. There's not much here. It doesn't do a really good job, really kind of explaining like what's going on. And it's so up its own ass with trying to have hip, cool dialogue that it's not explaining to me like what's going on. So I'll just give you an example. This is the first page right here. First page. And the first little blurbs. This is the very first thing that we read about the book. This is setting what's going on in it. It says, I'm a street-walking cheetah with a heart of napalm. I fought interdimensional spider poachers with my spider fam and watched the Hulk beat the bleep out of a capitalist from the future. Like, who talks like that? What is happening right here? The sad thing is most of the dialogue feels like somebody it feels like a parody of like left-wing Twitter. And I hate to get into politics in any way, shape, or form on any of the stuff that we do as a show or as a podcast. But man, it almost feels like a parody. So if somebody was trying to make a point about these type of stances or these beliefs, it reads like a parody of it. I was like, are they making fun of people that believe this way, or do they believe this way and think this is cool? Either way, it doesn't work. I'm just kind of like, what is this? Like, who is this for? Maybe the like 150, 200 people on Twitter that talk like this, like we're really excited by this. Like, hey man, like Nazi punks F off. Like, what is happening here? Everyone's a fascist or a Nazi. It reads like a parody of how politics are online today. And I guess if you take it from that stance, it's accurate, but I'm not really sure what what they were going for there. The art's okay, you know, kind of cartoony, but it does fit with the book. I didn't mind the art so much. It was just it was a little bit of a tough read. Some of the faces look weird, and then some of the backgrounds are just aren't backgrounds. But we're not going to hold that against anybody. Not everybody's going to be George Perez drawing like little tiny buildings on everything. So I understand. But well, you could say that about a lot of people. Not everybody's going to be George Perez. Yeah, no shit. For the most part, it was slightly enjoyable, but just where was the for me? There was no for me. The dialogue was very cringe. It just felt like, oh my god, like I said, I couldn't tell. Like, is this dialogue supposed to be a parody, or is it supposed to legitimately like we're supposed to think like this is cool? Either way, it doesn't work. Art's okay. Not really sure storyline wise, you know, what exactly is happening. Kraven the Hunter attacks them twice. So in case you missed it the first time, he attacks them twice. And then, like I said, the Misfits show up at the end. Yeah, man. It's just not for me. I don't think this is for me. I won't be buying the next issue of Spider-Punk. I think Marvel is doing a disservice with the shitty paper that it's printed on. Maybe the art would look better on a better printed paper. And maybe the storyline will kind of come around. Maybe Spider-Punk learns his lesson and is less cringe in 3 issues. Who knows? But, you know, for $3.99, if I wanted to read dialogue like this, I could just jump on Twitter and read some people's rants and raves. Art was okay. Just not really much there for me, man. You might get more out of it than me. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm probably at a 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 for Spiderpunk #1. Yeah, just not really feeling it. I'm going to throw it right over here. Moving along. Next book we did, Captain Marvel #1 annual. So we get the annual Captain Marvel issue. I've never understood why they do annuals. Even when I was a kid, I didn't understand why they were annuals. I loved them. Some of them used to have crossovers like Evolutionary War, Bloodlines, Armageddon 2001. Oh no, the futuristic year of 2001 is coming. But for the most part, they're usually like one-off, and they used to be sometimes inventory stories, which was just like, okay. They weren't so great. Sometimes they were cool. I know there's a Amazing Spider-Man annual from Atlantis Attacks. Liefeld did the interior art with a John Byrne cover. It's like, loved it as a kid. My God, it was great. So anyway, Captain Marvel annual #1. This is just grabbed it off the shelf, kind of like the cover. I thought the cover was cool. I love Captain Marvel, and there's a couple levels to that. I've always liked Carol Danvers as Miss Marvel, and as the idea of her becoming Captain Marvel, pretty cool. Never really read much of the books that were kind of when she joined that identity. I did like the movie a lot. I do really like Brie Larson. She's a very, very attractive female. Looking forward to her in Fast and the Furious. It's all about family, let me tell you. I will gladly give her one also. So great. And anyway, like the character, like the movie. It's the best phase 1 movie in phase 3 there is. So, but we got to read the book. So, I grabbed it, checked it out, and saw the Starjammers on the cover there. So it's kind of exciting. I love weird, obscure characters. I'm going to check them out, see what they got to do. So this was written by Torunn Grønbekk. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that, but Torunn Grønbekk and artist Carlos Gomez. So that was pretty cool. Cover artists Lee Garbett and David Curiel. And yeah, I mean, it's really just a one-off adventure with Captain Marvel. It opens up with her on a space station, just having a time like normal life, bedding, living, partying in a space station. She ends up getting captured, and hijinks ensue. There's a wild brawl that happens. The Starjammers kind of come off like Guardians of the Galaxy. A lot of this feels aped from the first Guardians movie, which is not a bad thing. It's a great book. But there's action, and the characters are wacky, kind of well explained too. They let you know who they are kind of through dialogue and through just explanation. Like the Starjammers kind of appear, and then it'll tell you, like this is this character, this is this character, and they do a good job in story of kind of explaining to you who each person is. So maybe it's not going to tell you right up front what Ch'ad's powers are, but through reading it, you can figure it out. And that's almost like a lost art nowadays in some of these books that we're checking out. Remember Spawn a couple weeks ago, going back to Spawn again. We had no idea what was going on in it because we had no idea who these characters were, and they were barely explained. Look at Spawn. Now here's Spawn in a cowboy hat. Like, okay, like what's happening? Here's some guy with green eyes. Okay. But this did a good job of dialogue-wise explaining to you what's going on. And it was just a fun adventure. Really, the only downside I had to it, because I liked the art a lot, too. The art was great. I got to tell you, art-wise, I was feeling this. I would read a book by this art team every month because it looked exactly like I want a comic to look. Everyone looked right. Big action. So it's another, good page to show you right there. Captain Marvel. Try to get it out of the sun. Sorry. Captain Marvel kind of fighting a big monster thing, but it was big, widescreen action, good time. And the story was good. It was well written. The only time it bogged down for me was I think one or a few of these characters maybe in the main Captain Marvel book that I'm not reading, and they had some story going on with them. I'm trying to be a little vague to avoid spoilers for it, because I will recommend that you pick this up. That part kind of lost me a little bit. I was more invested in, hey, here's Captain Marvel. She's meeting up with the Starjammers. Let's have a wacky adventure. Whatever the overarching story that goes along with Captain Marvel's book, I just didn't know what it was. And it was just a little like, okay. And I started to get more and more of the focus of the book towards the end. And when things are happening, I don't have that oomph towards this character that the other characters do, because I haven't read the books. So that part felt a little flat for me in the back half of the story. But otherwise, I enjoyed this, man. Like, the art was cool, storyline was mostly good, the action was good. I really liked the art in this one, man. I thought this was a good job, man. This is a good example of an annual or a first book that you can give to somebody and be like, hey, you like superheroes, you might like Captain Marvel movies, or you like Guardians of the Galaxy, check this out, try it. It didn't feel like I was jumping in the middle of something and I had no idea what was going on. They did a good job of explaining who the people were, showing who they were. The art was great. I'm liking it, man. Captain Marvel Annual 1. I'm probably going like a 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5 for that one for me. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. Will I pick up more Captain Marvel books? Now, that is the question. Now, in the back cover, there was I got to remember where I have to hold it. There was an ad for more Captain Marvel coming out. And I'm not sure if it's by the same creative team. If it's the same creative team, I got to be honest with you, I might pick that up. This might be the second book out of 7 so far that we've been doing these reviews that I will probably pick up the next issue to check out. I liked it that much. We'll see how it goes when it's an ongoing story and when they have more stuff to work with, and maybe it'll lose the charm. But for me, I liked it. I like the idea of it. I love seeing these B, Z, D grade characters, the Starjammers, injected into things, and it was a fun time, man. $4.99. A little steep, but I don't feel like I wasted my money. I had a good time with Captain Marvel #1. So 3.5 out of 5 for me. I'm going to be picking up the next issue. Throw it on the ground and we're done. But I got to tell you, one thing I love is the smell of old comics. This has nothing to do with our reviews, but if you're like me, some old comics laying around, there's nothing better than just like opening it up and be like, it just brings me back to those days of being a young kid, digging through those 4 for $1 boxes at the comic book store at the mall. So, I love the smell of old comics. But that's it, man. That's the 2 books I checked out this week. Captain Marvel Annual #1, 3.5 out of 5. Spiderpunk #1, a 2 out of 5. A recommend for Captain Marvel, not so much for Spiderpunk, but we'll see what next week's brings. As always, thank you so much for checking out the show. Don't forget the regular podcast on all your podcasting apps every week, and videos nonstop on our channel as well. If you got any books that you want me to check out, or things you think I should see, or even if you want to send us copies of things to review, can't promise you'll like the review, but I promise I'll read it. So hit us up in the comments below or DM us on social media. And like I said, hit the like, subscribe button, and the bell so you can get more comic and other movie and nonsense from our YouTube channel. It's always there for you, man. So thank you so much for checking us out. We'll see you next week. Good journey.